Howdy YouTube, today we're taking a look at some Godzilla merchandise, in particular the King Ghidorah plush and also the Rainbow Mothra. Two things that I picked up off Amazon, got these for really cheap. Going to add them to my Godzilla collection. They look kind of cool, but they also in some ways reflect the Godzilla franchise in that they can be a little bit crappy at times. So hopefully you guys enjoy this review. Now Godzilla, king of the monsters. He's supposed to be just this awesome, indestructible force that just tears shit up and destroys things. And in reality, if you watch most of the movies, there's probably 5 or 6 out of the 30 that are decent. And the rest of them are, like when I say garbage, even if you drink a few beers and sit around and watch it, it's still not anything to get a laugh out of. Having said that, though, I am still a big Godzilla fan. Don't ask me why. The recent 2014-2015 PS4 Godzilla game, that is a great game for Godzilla fans. Has a lot of the monsters and stuff you want. Godzilla does control like a tank. Well, all the monsters do, I should say. But the flying ones like King Ghidorah, Mothra, certainly are a lot of fun to play as because they've got that different dynamic to them. But there's no single player campaign that's any good. It's just destroying generators and fighting monsters with no real story built in. And the other big thing is there's no split screen, and that to me is the biggest crime for any monster fighting game. How can you not have split screen? Anyway, in terms of merchandise, it's a mixed bag. We've got vinyl figures, like the Space Godzilla there, which is from the 90s. That's a really cool thing. Big fan of that. You get the more recent 2004, 2005 plastic type Mecha Godzilla figures. And then we've got the 2014, atomic breath blasting Godzilla, which a lot of people didn't really like the design of it. I personally didn't have a problem with it. It was a little bit stocky, a little bit fat. But I don't know, that didn't bother me as much as a lot of other people. Now, in terms of the two monsters we've got here, they're two of my favourite ones. Mothra, I never liked at all. I thought it was just the most stupid, useless character. And then after going to Japan, realising that Mothra is huge over there. She or he, or Batra, I think is the boy version, has like its own film franchise, with its own movies and everything. The main villain actually is very similar to King Ghidorah, but a little bit different. And that's kind of cool. They love Mothra in everything. I went to a robot show where, basically these evil robots were attacking, and what saved the day was literally, and I kid you not, Mothra flying in with King Kong hanging on, throwing basically bombs at these killer robots. And that's what saved the day. So, it just shows you an example of how much they love Mothra over there. Why? I don't know. It's a butterfly. But anyway, it's a pretty kick-ass butterfly, I suppose. We'll start by taking a look at King Ghidorah, I should say. Ghidorah. If you know how you're accurately supposed to say that, please let me know. Now, in terms of this plush toy, it is actually quite big. There's my hand. It scales really well, actually, with a lot of the other Godzilla merchandise that we get. It's got these two wings, which is kind of cool. I wish they made some merchandise, well, I suppose they have, but some plush toys of the Mecha King Ghidorah. That is brilliant. That's really cool. And actually not a bad movie either. That's a good laugh. If you want to do yourself a favor, look up the early 2000s Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah and the Mecha King Ghidorah movie. It's got like this knockoff Terminator in it, and it honestly, it's hilarious. It's so bad that is one of the Godzilla movies that is funny. As you can see on the tag, this is from the 2001 movie, which I think is actually the movie I'm talking about. He's got a cool backstory. He appeared in a lot of the old school Godzilla movies as well. Certainly one of the more dynamic and cooler villains. His tail is made out of like a soft wire, so you can bend it and shape it how you want. But the backstory on this guy varies a little bit. Essentially, he's an alien monster that gets called in just to kick Godzilla. And he does that a fair bit until he gets one of his heads ripped off and loses terribly. Nice detail. I love the red eyes and the mouths and everything like that. yeah, a really cool monster. Certainly one that I enjoy playing as in the Godzilla game. His flying ability and like three-way atomic breath, laser breath thing is a pretty cool attack. So I'm a big fan of this. There's nice detail on it too. Like they got the grooves on his body and everything. I think they did a really good job in capturing his likeness. Alright, and next up we've got Rainbow Mothra. This is probably the coolest looking Mothra I've ever seen. I love this design. I think the wings look brilliant. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'll zoom out. This is a lot more recent than a lot of the other Godzilla plush toys. It's from I think 2012. What does the tag say? 2012. The Rainbow Mothra I think looks significantly nicer than the other versions we've got. Just something about the paint and the color scheme of the wings that looks really cool. The other thing I love too is I love the black and white. It just looks a lot more menacing. It looks like a monster rather than just a regular butterfly that's been enlarged. Talk about coming up with a cool monster design. Anyway, on the back you can see obviously, again, it's not so much a big plush toy. It's actually kind of small, but the wings obviously give it that size advantage. One thing I like is that there's, again, like a wire in there, so you can position the wings however you want, and it stays there really well, which is always good. It's always nice to be able to do what you want with your things. So yeah, I mean, kind of cool. Overall, if you're a big Godzilla fan, I think these are well worth picking up. On eBay, they go for ridiculous prices. Mothra was like $60. King Ghidorah was like $50, $60, and that's crazy. Don't pay that money for these. I got them both off Amazon for like $40. And even then, I don't know. I'm not entirely convinced it was worth it. But, I mean, it's something cool to add. I like Godzilla, I suppose. And I'll have them with my other Godzilla merchandise and that sort of stuff. But yeah, if you're a die-hard Godzilla fan, then definitely these are two things that you want to get. They are two of the more common ones. I really want to try and get a Gigan Biollante as well as another cool looking one. Space Godzilla, the plush Destroyer or Destructoria is some of the more desirable ones, but they go for ridiculous money, and the people who have got them ask ridiculous prices. So I don't know. Hopefully they re-release these, or something happens where the price plummets, because for a general fan or collector, it's probably really out of the price range. But if the price drops a little bit, then it's something that could be well worth picking up. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this review on the Rainbow Mothra and King Ghidorah plush toys.